You want your lavender to grow faster. That is why you are here. Maybe you have a small, sad little plant that has barely moved since you put it in, and you want it to become one of those big, blousy, purple mounds you see in photographs, and you want it to happen this year, not in 5 years. So let me be honest with you right up front, because that is what this channel does. And then I am going to give you 10 real ways to get there. First, the honest part. Nobody can promise you a magic number. When you see grow 4 times faster, understand that lavender growth depends on your variety, your climate, and your soil. And no honest gardener can hand you a guaranteed multiplier. But here is what is true, and it is genuinely encouraging. A healthy, well-sited lavender roughly doubles in size every year for its first 3 years, and hits its full peak glory in about year 3. So the real question is not how to beat nature. It is how to make sure your plant actually hits that fast, natural rate, instead of sulking below it for years, which is what most people's lavender does. And here is the twist that runs through this entire video, the thing almost nobody understands about this plant. The instinct that makes lavender grow faster is backwards. When most people want a plant to grow faster, they feed it, they water it, they pamper it. Do that to lavender, and you slow it down, weaken it, and shorten its life. Because lavender did not evolve in comfort. It evolved on harsh, dry, rocky hillsides, and it grows fastest and strongest when you give it that hard life, not a soft one. So several of these 10 tricks are going to sound like the opposite of helping. One of them, number 3, is going to sound almost crazy, and it is the single most powerful one on the list. Stick around for that one especially. Let me give you the 10, starting with the decision you make before the plant is even in the ground. Before the 10, hold on to the one idea that connects all of them, because once you have it, every trick makes sense on its own. Lavender grows fastest when its life is hard. That is the whole secret. This is a plant from the Mediterranean, from poor, gritty, sun-baked hillsides with little rain and lean, rocky soil. That is not what it tolerates. That is what it wants. That is the environment that switches this plant into vigorous growth. So every one of these 10 tricks is really just a way of recreating a harsh Mediterranean hillside in your yard and getting out of the plant's way. Which means, and this is the part that trips everyone up, a good half of these tricks are about giving the plant less, not more. Less water, less food, less rich soil, less fussing. The comfortable, generous instincts that speed up a tomato or a hydrangea will actively hold your lavender back. So read the whole list through that lens. You are not pampering this plant to health. You are toughening it. Give it the hard life it was built for, and it takes off. Now, trick number 1, and it starts before you even buy the plant. Trick number 1. Start with the right variety and a genuinely healthy plant. This is the trick that happens before any of the others, and getting it wrong means nothing else you do can save you. Here is the thing. Lavender is dozens of different plants with very different vigor and very different tolerances, and the single biggest predictor of whether yours grows fast is whether you picked one suited to your climate. If you garden somewhere cold, you want English lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, and its hybrids, because they are by far the hardiest, and they will not just survive your winters, they will thrive. If you want sheer size and speed, the big lavandines, the grossos, and the phenomenals are vigorous, fast-growing giants. Plant a tender Spanish or French lavender where the winters are harsh, and you are fighting the plant's nature the whole way, and it will always struggle. And buy a good plant. Where you can, Choose a healthy, well-rooted plant grown from a cutting rather than a cheap seedling, because cutting-grown plants are true to type and often further along. A vigorous, well-established start with a good root system will race ahead of a struggling bargain plant every single time. Pick right, and you have won half the battle before planting. Now, trick 2, when you put it in the ground. Trick number 2, plant it at the right time of year. Because when you put lavender in the ground decides how fast it establishes, and a plant that establishes fast grows fast. Here is the logic. A young lavender's first job is not to grow leaves or flowers. It is to build roots, and it wants to do that root building during cool, mild conditions, not while it is also fighting brutal heat or hard frost. Get the timing right, and the plant spends its early weeks calmly putting down a deep, strong root system, which is the engine for all the fast growth that comes after. Get it wrong, and the plant burns its energy just surviving. So here is the rule, and it depends on where you live. In colder regions, roughly zone 6 and below, plant in spring, after the danger of frost has passed. That gives the plant the whole growing season to establish before winter. In warmer regions, zone 7 and up, you can do even better by planting in early fall, so the roots establish through the cool, moist, mild winter, and the plant is ready to explode in spring. Either way, the principle is the same. Give the roots a gentle window to establish, and the plant rewards you with speed later. And one small but critical detail while you plant. Do not bury the crown. Set the plant at exactly the depth it sat in its pot, no deeper, because soil piled against that crown is the fastest way to rot a young lavender before it ever gets going. Now, trick 3. And this is the one that sounds insane. Trick number 3. Do not feed it, and do not plant it in rich soil. This is the one that sounds insane, and it is the single most powerful trick on this entire list. Here is what everyone does, and it comes from the best intentions. They want the plant to grow, so they dig in lots of lovely rich compost or manure at planting to give it a great start. And then they feed it through the season, because feeding makes things grow, right? And they are, quietly, sabotaging the plant. Because lavender does not grow better in rich soil. It grows better in poor soil. Lean, low nutrient, even downright bad soil. This is one of the few plants on Earth that genuinely performs best when you starve it. And there is a clear reason why. When you give lavender rich soil and fertilizer, especially anything with nitrogen in it, you get a burst of soft, leafy green growth. It looks like fast growth. But it is the wrong growth. That soft foliage comes at the direct expense of flowers, so you get a big floppy green bush with hardly any blooms. And that lush, soft tissue is weak, so it flops open, and it is far more prone to disease and rot, which then slows or kills the plant. Starve it instead, and something better happens. The plant grows tight, dense, compact, and strong. It puts its energy into a solid framework and into flowers instead of into weak leaves. It grows into the plant you actually wanted, and it does it faster in every way that matters. So here is the rule, and it is the easiest instruction in gardening. Do nothing. Do not amend the soil with compost or manure before planting. Do not fertilize. If your soil is genuinely awful, a tiny bit of compost at planting is the absolute most, and after that, put the fertilizer bag away and never think about it again. This is a plant you help by withholding. Now, trick 4, and it is the other half of that same hard life principle. Trick number 4. Give it savage drainage. If starving it is the most powerful trick, this one is the most important for keeping it alive long enough to grow, because bad drainage is the #1 killer of lavender. Full stop. Remember the hard life principle. Those Mediterranean hillsides drain in seconds. Rain hits and runs straight through the gritty, rocky soil, so the roots get a drink and then dry out fast. They are never sitting in water, and lavender roots cannot tolerate sitting in water. Wet feet suffocate them and rot them, and a rotting plant does not grow, it dies. So, your job is to build that fast-draining hillside in your yard. If you have heavy clay soil, do not just plant into it. Work in plenty of coarse sand, grit, or fine gravel to open it up. Better still, plant on a raised mound or in a raised bed, so water physically runs away from the crown and roots. Even a slope helps. The goal is simple. Water should never linger around this plant. Get the drainage right and you have removed the single biggest thing that slows and kills lavender. Now, trick 5, and this one is pure fuel. Trick number 5. Give it as much sun as you possibly can. This one is not about toughness, it is about fuel, and it is completely non-negotiable. Sunlight is the engine of growth. It is what the plant turns into energy. And more sun means more energy, means faster growth and more flowers. Lavender is a full sun plant to its core, from those open, treeless, blazing hillsides, and it wants a bare minimum of 6 hours of direct sun a day, and it is genuinely happiest with 8 or more. There is really no such thing as too much sun for lavender. And here is what happens if you skimp. A lavender in partial shade does not just grow a little slower. It grows leggy and weak, stretching and reaching for light. It flowers poorly, and critically, it stays damp because there is not enough sun to dry the soil and the foliage, which invites the rot and disease we just talked about. Shade works against you. 3 different ways at once. So plant lavender in the brightest, hottest, most exposed, most sun-blasted spot you have. The place where nothing else wants to grow is usually perfect for this plant. Now, before the second half of the list, a quick word. Quick one, right here in the middle, because we are 5 tricks in and you have probably already noticed the theme. Half the advice out there about growing lavender faster is not just wrong, it actively hurts the plant. Feed it, they say. Rich soil, they say. And it is backwards. This whole video is really about clearing away the hacks and the folklore and doing the few real things that work. And if there is one plant that suffers from bad folklore even more than lavender, it is the hydrangea. It is buried under a century of myths. Bury a rusty nail to turn it blue. Change the soil to change the color. Feed it to make it bloom. People follow this stuff confidently, and then they have a big healthy bush and no flowers, and they cannot understand why. It is the single most common gardening complaint there is, and almost all of it comes from believing the myth instead of knowing the plant. So I wrote the honest version down. It is called the Hydrangea Mastery Guide. It sorts out all 6 types in 90 seconds. Because that is where every mistake begins, not knowing which one you actually have. It gives you the prune by type calendar, so you stop cutting off your own flowers. It tells you the real reason the color changes, which is not the pH, whatever you were told. And it walks through the 5 myths that waste an entire season. 29 pages, $27, instant PDF. 7-day money-back guarantee, and the link is in the description at waltgreer.com. And it ends the way this channel always ends, with the part nobody selling you a miracle will print. 4 of the 6 types cannot change color at all, no matter what you pour on them. Fertilizer will never fix a hydrangea that will not bloom, because a guide that only tells you what to do is only half a guide. Now, back to the list. Trick number 6, and it is a hidden lever almost nobody checks. Trick number 6, check your soil pH and sweeten it if you need to. This is the hidden lever, because it is invisible. You cannot see pH, so almost nobody checks it, and it quietly holds a lot of lavender back. Here is the deal. Lavender likes neutral to slightly alkaline soil, roughly a pH of 6.5 to 7.5, and a lot of garden soil, especially anywhere with lots of rain or lots of pine, is more acidic than that. In acidic soil, lavender just underperforms, growing slowly and half-heartedly for reasons the gardener never figures out. So spend a few dollars on a simple soil test kit. If your soil comes back acidic, below about 6.5, work in some garden lime or dolomite lime to raise it toward 7. It is cheap, it is easy, and for a plant that is struggling in acidic ground, it can unlock a completely different rate of growth. This is the trick that fixes the slow lavender nobody can explain. Now, trick 7, and it is about water. Trick number 7. Water it hard to establish it, then starve it of water too. This one has 2 stages, and people usually get one right and the other wrong. Stage 1, the first season, while the plant is young and building roots. Here, you do water, regularly and deeply. Because those roots are still small, and consistent deep soaks encourage them to grow down, deep and strong, which builds the engine for all the fast growth to come. So, a new lavender does need attention in year 1. Stage 2, once it is established, from the second year on. Now you back almost all the way off. An established lavender is a drought plant, and it wants a deep drink only occasionally, every couple of weeks in real summer heat, and in many climates, the rain handles even that. Keep watering it like a young plant, and you drown it. So the rule is, deep water to establish, then wean it off. Baby it the first year, toughen it every year after. Now, trick 8, and it is the shears. Trick number 8, prune it to force it to grow. This sounds backwards, cutting a plant to make it bigger, but with lavender, strategic cutting is one of the fastest ways to a full, dense plant. Here is why it works. When you cut a stem tip, the plant responds by pushing out new shoots lower down, so one stem becomes several. Cut with that in mind, and you force the plant to branch and fill out, instead of growing tall, leggy, and sparse. So, 2 moves. On a young plant in its first year, pinch or lightly trim off the growing tips, and even sacrifice that first round of flowers to push the plant to bush out at the base instead of racing upward. Then, on established plants, after a flush of flowers fades, cut the plant back by about 1/3, always into green growth, never into the bare brown wood, because lavender does not come back from old wood. That cut stimulates a fresh wave of dense, new growth. Cut it right, and it grows back fuller and faster. Now, trick 9, and it is about warmth. Trick number 9, keep its roots warm. Lavender is a heat lover, and warm soil drives faster growth, so anything you do to warm the root zone speeds the plant up. The simplest way is a light-colored gravel or coarse sand mulch spread around the base of the plant. It does 3 good things at once. It reflects the sun's heat and light back up into the plant. It warms the soil, and because it is gritty and dry, it keeps moisture away from the crown instead of holding it there like bark mulch would. So you get warmth and better drainage in one move. Raised beds help too, because the soil in a raised bed warms up faster and earlier in the season than the cold ground. And if you can plant against a south-facing wall or in the hottest microclimate in your yard, that reflected and trapped heat gives the plant a real growth boost. Now, the 10th and final trick. Trick number 10. Give it room to breathe. Crowding is a silent brake on lavender growth, and spacing it properly lets each plant grow to full size faster and stay healthy doing it. Two things happen when you cram lavender in tight. First, the plants compete for root space, for water, for light, and a plant fighting its neighbors grows slower than one with room to spread. Second, and this is the real danger, crowded plants trap still, humid air between them, and that damp, stagnant pocket invites the fungal diseases that slow and kill lavender. So space them out. As a rule, about 2 to 3 feet apart, a bit less for the small English types, more for the big lavandines. It looks too sparse when they are young, and then they fill the gaps, and thank you for it. Give each plant its own space and its own airflow, and every one of them grows faster and cleaner. So let me pull all 10 together. Before we finish, do one thing for me. Think of one person you know with a sad little lavender that has not grown an inch in 2 years, who is about to give up on it. Send them this video, just the link. It might be the difference between that plant and a big purple mound by next summer. Now, here is the whole thing, in one idea. You cannot cheat lavender into growing faster with food and water and pampering. That is the myth, and it does the opposite. What you can do is stop slowing it down and give it the harsh Mediterranean life it was built for, so it grows at the fast, natural rate it always wanted to. So pick the right variety and a healthy plant. Plant it at the right time. Starve it. No rich soil, no fertilizer, ever. Give it savage drainage and blazing sun. Sweeten the soil if it is acidic. Water it hard the first year, then wean it off. Prune it to force it bushy. Keep its roots warm, and give it room to breathe. Do those 10 things, and you are not forcing this plant. You are finally getting out of its way. Remember, a healthy lavender doubles in size every year for 3 years. The gap between that and the sulking twig most people have is not magic, and it is not a special multiplier. It is just the difference between a plant given comfort and a plant given what it actually needs. Give it the hard life. It will race. So subscribe and stick around. We do this the honest way here in the Forgotten Knowledge Library. Real horticulture, exact amounts, and we tell you straight, including when the fastest way to grow something is to stop pampering it. It is free, and it always will be. Next time, another plant everyone tries to rush the wrong way, and the real path to a big one. Now go out to your lavender. And for most of you, the first move is to give it less, not more. I'll see you in the next one.